So, Jack, did you pick up anything useful on your VIP trip to the vaudeville?
In a world full of games overflowing with new ideas, complex systems boasting dozens of hours of playtime, a game like Mouse P.I. for hire could quickly be dismissed by players and reviewers. In fact, I've read a few reviews who have too easily dismissed it as too simple and forgettable. And that would be a big mistake for anyone looking for some fun in their gaming lives. You'll know in the first hour if you like this game. You'll either appreciate the developer's dedication to the 1930s Steamboat Willie-inspired hand-drawn animation and the old gumshoe detective humor and voice acting, combined with some fast, fluid, and classic shoot-'em-ups, or you'll misunderstand it as simple and repetitive, and possibly miss out on something truly special.
Oh, the stage designer. Yeah, he's
If you've ever
upstairs,
come across an
chewing
old
the fat
detective
with some
movie,
extras.
show, or even satire mocking the genre, then this will feel instantly familiar. Mouse P.I. intentionally leans into this world, not only through some fantastic hand-drawn animation, but in each character's design and voice acting. You've got the main character you play, a tired, grumpy mouse detective Jack Pepper, dedicated to helping the mice, including a range of fun and exaggerated characters. And then there are the expected politicians, chatty bartenders, a reporter who is almost always looking for the inside scoop, the friendly mechanic to upgrade your weapons, classic Hollywood starlets, gangsters, countless more. Together through a series of cases over interesting quick levels with a surprising amount of theming depth, you'll shoot a lot of enemies, constantly look for ammo and heals, and talk to these fun characters while listening to Jack's commentary as he tries to solve the mystery and help his fellow citizens of Mouseburg.
Seems I'm not the only party here.
I was pleasantly surprised with how Mouse P.I. takes all the typical characters and environments of an adventure game or movie and is constantly mixing up the variety. In one level I was shooting through boatyards, the next in an opera house on fire, then in a New Orleans swamp, and even jumping on airplanes as they fly. Like the cast of characters, the levels are also memorable. What starts as a missing person case for a magician spirals into a funny, huge conspiracy with everyone from gangster mice, mad scientists, corrupt politicians, fascists with World War II style, and even a talking brain. Along with the great art style and design, we have a perfect 30s inspired bluesy, loungy soundtrack that feels like it was plucked right out of a classic film. Special effects are nothing special, but they do help to add that whimsical cartoon layer to every explosion and popping weapon. The real standout with the music and the sound effects is the voice acting. Some reviewers may find these stereotypical forced both in voice characterization and the cheesy one-liner jokes, but I think they miss the point. It's the perfect mix for this wild type of action game and the theming. Game voice legend Troy Baker, fresh off his recent Indiana Jones work, brings just the right amount of grit, inner monologue, and humor to our lead mouse detective.
More trouble than it was worth. But, well, trouble is what I do.
And every voice in the supporting cast also do a great job. This game is more than a few one-liners and jokes though. There are entire conversations with the NPCs as you work through their cases. We're not talking a few lines, we're talking minutes of dialogue, all well acted.
Or are we doing our usual tug of war?
I can give you more than a crumb, Jack.
My first reaction to Mouse P.I.'s gameplay was a smirk, then it turned into a grin that never left my face. After a few quick group fights I thought, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was. I need to adjust my playstyle a bit here. This comes from two key factors. The game is fast and smooth, like an old school shooter, say like Quake, and the enemies are not hard, but they do come in large groups with various tactics from every angle, making you really have to find a good rhythm to survive. You're constantly having to move around, shoot, find ammo, and find health, as well as often switch your weapons mid-battle. These enemies can be anything from single-shot mice you can take down, giant hulking brutes that charge at you and can take a quarter of your shield off. Shielded enemies you have to kick first to stun, then shoot. More than once early in the game, before I had more weapons to pick from, I was barely surviving, with no ammo, kicking and punching enemies as I laughed out loud in panic. We are so spoiled with games these days, with more complex enemy AI, cover systems, leveling systems, and blocking systems, that I was almost thrown back at the start of playing this game. I really had to adjust. We forget what this type of game is like. However, unlike old shooter games, say like early PC games or console games, Mouse P.I has a very refined and smooth control set, which makes it more fun than frustrating. Once you get the pace and the controls down, you can easily take out dozens of enemies in waves while just constantly moving around them. That doesn't mean it's easy. I died often in the later game, and the final boss is as exciting and long as it is exhausting. With so much frantic chaos, I was laughing out loud and didn't blink, but I never felt like it was the system's fault or unfair. It was usually because I lost focus and got sloppy, or I tried to get too fancy. And I was quick to reload my last save and try again. It is an addictive game. As the game progresses, you get a pretty large and varied set of weapons, as well as a double jump and grappling hooks, which help keep the variety going even as the enemy variety starts to become just reskins of the same core set. From standard handguns and shotguns and machine guns to more interesting options like a cannon, paint thinner gun, dynamite, even a chainsaw. By the end of my first playthrough, I had all but one weapon, which you get from playing a baseball mini-card game and winning tokens. I was so enthralled with the game itself, I never played the card game more than once, so I didn't realize it was there to unlock something. If you are a completionist, be sure to spend some time playing and winning the card game to unlock every weapon and get an achievement. There is also some real impressive attention to the artwork and the animation in this game. We're talking about a hand-drawn game. This includes animations of enemies who lose their head or get filled with bullet holes or turn into a pile of ash with blinking eyes, to animated objects in the background, to your own hands and the guns you hold. They added so much character and style, it really helps the game come to life. I don't think I'll ever look at the hands holding a gun in a first-person shooter the same way again. I had no glitches, no bad saves, no real issues, other than a few difficult boss fights, and a couple jumping sequences. I know this is an indie game, but it put a lot of AAA big budget games to shame in how tight the art, animation, audio, and gameplay work together. The game has 3 difficulties. I played on normal, and you can change difficulty at any time without reloading. There are no difficulty achievements or trophies, so if you really want to be a completionist, you could set it on easy and play through the whole thing slowly and get 100%. Unfortunately, one aspect of modern games that I did wish they had added in and hope they will add in the future is a new Game Plus mode or the ability to replay case levels, even if it's after beating the game. With 34 achievements or trophies over the game, if you're a completionist, this limits your success severely, as anything you fail to collect is impossible to get again unless you replay the entire game. For a game that pushes so much collecting, this is disappointing. Because of these missing features, I'm not sure how much replay there is for most people. We have so many games to play on our backlogs and new games coming out every week. Not having a way to replay without having to commit another 10 plus hours to a run really limits the game's replay for me. In fact, I think if they added multiplayer to this, I think you may have a sleeper hit with a core community out there. Hopefully they update the game with this and add some DLCs, or even give us a second game in the future. In the end though, the depth and quality of the characters and story were well worth the value of a game that's priced at half of what most big budget games are these days. Is it Game of the Year material? No. But it is what we need to cut through so much of the indie game and AAA game slop we now live with. I play a lot of games, and Mouse P.I for Hire is way more than it seems, and everyone should play it. Do not listen to some big site reviewer with a chip on their shoulder who gets all their games for free anyways, and give this a real try for yourself. These are the kind of developers and games we should all be supporting. I love this game. In fact, the only fault I found after 14 hours of playtime was that it ended, and I still wanted more.
Yeah, all right. Enlighten me, Maestro.
Now, listen closely.
For more reviews, full playthroughs, tip videos, and occasional live streams, keep it locked to Eletodd Games. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share videos like this to encourage me to keep making more in the future. Enjoy your gaming, everyone. See you next time.
Something tells me there are cheese strings out there yet to be unraveled. But today, I'm done.